Want to grow your own fresh vegetables or herbs, but short on space or soil quality? DIY raised garden beds are the perfect solution. They're easy to build, budget-friendly, and ideal for beginners or seasoned gardeners alike. Whether you have a backyard, patio, or just a sunny corner, raised beds give you control over soil, drainage, and plant placement. In this video, we'll show you step by step how to create your own raised garden bed using simple materials. No fancy tools required. Let's turn that empty space into a thriving, edible garden. 1. Why raised garden beds are ideal for vegetables and herbs. Raised garden beds offer a wealth of advantages over traditional in-ground gardening, especially for those growing vegetables or herbs. These self-contained plots are elevated above ground level, often using wood, stone, or metal structures to form a defined planting area filled with nutrient-rich soil. One of the primary benefits of raised beds is better soil control. Gardeners can customize the soil composition, pH levels, and drainage far more easily than in the native ground, which may be rocky, clay-heavy, or contaminated. This is crucial for vegetables and herbs, which are often sensitive to soil conditions and thrive best in rich, well-drained environments. Additionally, raised beds warm up earlier in the spring and stay workable longer into the fall, extending your growing season. Another key advantage is accessibility. The elevated height reduces the amount of bending and kneeling required, making gardening more comfortable for people with limited mobility or back problems. Raised beds also offer better pest control. Barriers can be added to deter burrowing critters, and the soil is less compacted, making it harder for weed seeds to take root. For herbs and vegetables, which benefit from orderly spacing and attentive care, raised beds also support better organization and crop rotation. 2. Choosing the right location for your raised bed. Choosing the right location is arguably the most important decision you'll make when building a raised garden bed. Your plants' health and productivity depend largely on access to sunlight, water, and good air circulation. For vegetables and most herbs, aim for a location that receives at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight each day. Leafy greens like spinach and lettuce may tolerate a bit more shade, but tomatoes, peppers, and basil thrive in full sun. Observe your outdoor space throughout the day to find the sunniest spot. 3. Selecting materials: wood, metal, bricks, and alternatives. Selecting the right material for your raised bed frame is key to ensuring durability, safety, and appearance. The most commonly used material is wood, particularly untreated cedar or redwood. These types of wood are naturally rot-resistant and free from harmful chemicals, making them ideal for growing edibles. While more expensive than pine, cedar and redwood beds can last 10 to 15 years with proper care. Avoid pressure-treated wood unless it's certified safe for food-growing purposes. Older versions used arsenic compounds, but newer ones use copper-based treatments that are generally considered safe, but still debated among organic gardeners. 4. Planning the size, shape, and height. Before you start building your raised garden bed, carefully plan its dimensions to fit both your space and your gardening needs. The most common size for a raised bed is 4 feet wide by 8 feet long. This width is ideal because it allows you to reach the center of the bed from either side without stepping on the soil, preserving soil structure and preventing compaction. If you make your bed wider than 4 feet, you'll likely need to step into it, which defeats one of the main benefits of raised beds. However, the length can vary based on your available space. You could go shorter, like 4 by 4 feet, or longer, like 4 by 12 feet, depending on what you're growing. 5. How to build your raised bed. Step-by-step guide. Once you've chosen your materials and planned the size, it's time to build your raised bed. Here's a step-by-step guide that's beginner-friendly and doesn't require advanced tools. Step 1. Gather materials and tools. You'll need your chosen frame materials, e.g. cedar planks, galvanized panels, deck screws or corner brackets, a drill, measuring tape, a level, and a saw, if cutting wood. If you're placing the bed on grass or soil, also grab landscape fabric or cardboard, a shovel, and your soil mix. Step 2. Prepare the ground. Clear the area of grass, weeds, and debris. You can dig a few inches down for stability, or place the frame directly on the ground. To prevent weeds from growing up into your bed, lay down landscape fabric or a few layers of cardboard. Wet the cardboard to help it start decomposing and create a barrier for weeds. Step 3. Assemble the frame. Cut your boards, if needed, and attach the corners using deck screws or metal brackets. Make sure the frame is square by measuring diagonals. Set the frame on your prepared ground and check that it's level, adjusting the ground as needed. If you're building a deeper bed, stack layers of wood and reinforce the corners as you go. Step 4. Fill with soil. Once your frame is in place, begin adding your soil mix. For best results, use a mix of 60% topsoil, 30% compost, and 10% perlite or sand for drainage. You can also use bagged raised bed soil or create a layered lasagna garden with alternating layers of organic material, compost, and soil. Step 5. Water and settle the soil. Lightly water the soil to help it settle, then top off with more soil as needed. Allow the bed to sit for a day or two if possible before planting. This ensures the soil compacts naturally and gives you a better surface to plant in. Optional, add finishing touches. Install trellises, hoops, or netting if you're planning to grow climbing plants or need to protect from birds. Label your plants with garden markers or stones, and consider installing drip irrigation for efficiency. Building your raised bed can be a weekend project that pays off for years to come, and the satisfaction of constructing it yourself makes your harvest even more rewarding. 6. Soil, compost, and fertilizer for raised beds. What you put into your raised garden bed is just as important as the frame. Soil quality directly impacts plant health, productivity, and water retention. A common mistake among beginners is to use plain topsoil or fill dirt, both of which lack the nutrients and structure needed for healthy plant growth. Instead, your goal should be to create a well-draining, nutrient-rich mix that supports robust root systems. A good starting mix for raised beds is known as Mel's Mix, which consists of 1/3 compost, 1/3 peat moss or coconut coir, and 1/3 vermiculite. This blend retains moisture, supports aeration, and provides organic nutrients. Alternatively, you can use a mix of 60% topsoil, 30% compost, and 10% perlite or coarse sand. The compost can come from kitchen scraps, leaves, grass clippings, or well-rotted manure. Just make sure it's fully decomposed. 7. Maintenance, seasonal prep, and long-term tips. Once your raised garden bed is established, regular maintenance is key to keeping your vegetables and herbs healthy and productive year-round. Fortunately, raised beds require less weeding and soil disturbance compared to traditional gardens, but they're not entirely hands-off. Create a weekly routine to check for pests, water needs, and plant health. Watering is especially important, as raised beds dry out faster. Use drip irrigation or soaker hoses for efficient, deep watering that avoids wetting foliage, which can lead to disease. Early morning is the best time to water, reducing evaporation and fungal issues. As the season progresses, watch for signs of nutrient deficiency, yellowing leaves, stunted growth, or poor fruit production. Apply organic fertilizers or compost tea monthly, and side dress heavy feeders like squash or corn with extra compost mid-season. Mulching with straw, shredded leaves, or grass clippings helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and regulate soil temperature. Be sure to leave some space around the base of each plant to prevent stem rot. If you find this content helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below. We love to hear your thoughts.